Let's get this meeting started. I'd like to begin by going over the agenda for the meeting. Number 1, summary discussion of all the previous summary discussions from all the previous meetings.
Oh, great. That sounds exciting.
Number 2, review of the budget for office cleaning supplies for the next 5 years.
I'd like to clean up this agenda.
And number 3, a discussion of how we discuss discussions.
Oh, no, not that again. I'm so bored.
Something seems to have scrambled the agenda. Oh well, let's skip right to number 17. Things only Mark is interested in discussing. Whether it's a business meeting or social media timeline, we can waste a lot of time wading through things we're really not interested in. I'm Eric Enge, CEO of Stone Temple Consulting, and in this episode of Here's Why, I'll ask our Senior Director of Marketing, Mark Traphagen, to explain why social media platforms keep monkeying with your timelines. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of these social networks and more are monkeying with our timelines. What are they up to, Mark?
Well, each of them, to varying degrees, no longer shows a straight-up reverse chronological timeline.
A reverse chrono what?
A reverse chronological timeline. That's where your feed of posts shows with the most recent post at the top and then backwards in time order. So you were always looking at the most recent posts from your friends or others you followed whenever you logged into the network.
And how have they changed that?
Well, each platform has implemented their changes differently, but basically it means that they employ an algorithm to try to bring posts which they think will most likely interest you to the top of your timeline.
It sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, well, not everyone agrees. I mean, when each network announced the introduction of filtered timelines, there was an uproar among the hardcore users. The protest was probably loudest over Twitter's announcement, as many longtime Twitter users consider the chronological timeline as a sacred part of Twitter's appeal.
So why were users so upset over these changes?
Well, certainly part of the rancor is due to our natural resistance to change. Our social networks begin to feel like a favorite old pair of shoes. They are so familiar and comfortable we forget about the shoes themselves and just enjoy walking around in them. Well, in the same way, we get comfortable with our social networks. Their interface fades into the background and we become absorbed with the content. But when the interface changes, it can feel like the dog ate our favorite shoes. But more than our dislike of change is in play. People also believe that they want it all. They say they want to see everything posted by those they follow. It's like when we go into a restaurant with a buffet. We know we're paying the same price whether we eat a few things or many, so we try to eat as much as we can to get our money's worth.
And despite the protest and the facts of human nature you've listed, we've seen network after network going to a filtered or algorithmic timeline. What are they doing when the users say they don't want it?
Well, I always tell anyone I'm mentoring about marketing that don't believe what people say they want, follow their behavior. Now, when surveyed, people will say they don't want an algorithmic filtering of their timelines, but there's a simple reason why the networks do it anyway and never go back. Their own metrics show that people stay longer and engage more when their feeds are filtered.
So why is that?
Well, I think the truth is that thanks to machine learning, algorithms really are getting better at figuring out what we'll be more interested in. And it's no longer as simplistic as it was in the early days of Facebook's EdgeRank. EdgeRank just showed you more of posts that your friends had engaged with. But today's algorithms can dig deeper to surface content that is likely to be relevant and interesting to you, even if it isn't yet popular. Now, the signal-to-noise problem was especially acute on Twitter because of the rapid-fire nature of posts limited to 140 characters. Once a user starts following a lot of people, or a few hundred accounts, their timeline in real time jumps wildly from topic to topic. It can be a jarring and uncomfortable experience. Now, unless you've opted out of the feature, whenever you log into twitter.com or the Twitter smartphone app now, the first tweets you see are selected for you by the algorithm. They are all from accounts you follow, but could be from any time since your previous login. Swiping to the top of your timeline takes you back to the most recent tweets. Now, I only get to dip into Twitter a few times each day. Eric wants me to do work. So I know I'm always missing tons of updates from people I follow. The new algorithm has already been helpful as it has shown me tweets I'm glad I didn't miss, but would have before.
Thanks, Mark. You can get a lot more of Mark's thinking on why social networks filter your feeds and why he thinks Twitter doing this could actually help turn Twitter around in the link on our blog on the screen now or in the episode notes.
Thank you. And we put out a new episode of Here's Why every Monday. So to get our future episodes, follow us on Twitter at STC_Corp or search for Stone Temple Consulting on LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+, or Instagram.
Hey, we need to get back to that great meeting. So, I propose we use the new meeting agenda algorithm that we purchased to create meetings with items that are more of interest to all attendees.
Like, +1, star, heart, followed.